Greetings from Podcastville. It's Wednesday, the 20th of fucking May. Where the fuck did the year go? It's a beautiful day to be alive. The church is brought to you by MeUndies. Listen, MeUndies. As a podcast fan, you've heard me and every other fucking schmuck with the microphone blab about bras, boxes, and briefs for years. But the one thing is, MeUndies is the softest and most sustainable underpants in the fucking world. It's like having an angel cradle your fucking nuts all day, every day. I wear MeUndies every fucking day. Do you understand me? You guys saw me when I took my nuts out in the Comedy Store thing. I fucking had MeUndies on. I love them. I don't give a fuck what you think, all right? It's time to get away from those white undies and those fucking John LaFlame undies. You're not that fucking dude. MeUndies are fucking made with more dough. I love them. They're comfortable. Now make an adult decision and get yourself on a monthly plan for a clean, fresh, and soft skivvies. What don't I do for you motherfuckers? I got your Manscaped to shave your nuts. I got your Blue Chew so you can fucking get your dick hard. I love you motherfuckers. Pay attention to me. I'm grooming you cocksuckers, all right? MeUndies is the way to fucking go. And you get MeUndies delivered straight to your door with free shipping, and they come in all shapes and sizes, from extra small to 4X. All bodies are welcome, even fat fucks like me. They're even, listen, what you do is, if let's say you're a fat fuck, get a size smaller, so they feel even more comfortable around your nuts. They control everything. You're living like a doctor, you understand me? Right now, do me a favor, go to MeUndies. MeUndies will not stop till every one of you motherfuckers tries one pair. Trust me when I'm telling you. Just try them. MeUndies has a great offer for the church family. For any first-time purchaser, we're going to give you 15% off and free shipping. Listen to me. This is the way to go. Give it a try. Give it a shot. Columbus did. You're sitting there with those rotten underwears. Your ass smells like 10 dead fucking rats, and you wonder why. I could fucking stick my finger in my nutsack right now. Fresh. Because it keeps the moisture out of your nutsack. You understand me? Even when I go to jiu-jitsu or I fucking box or work out, I'm sweaty all over. My nuts are nice and fucking dry. That's MeUndies. So do me a favor right now. Go to MeUndies.com and put in Joey. /Joey. Go to MeUndies.com. I'm going to get you 15% off your first pair, free shipping, and 100% satisfaction guaranteed, all right? Go to MeUndies.com /Joey right now. It's a no-brainer. Get yours right now. MeUndies.com /Joey. Shit, it all starts fucking today, all right? No more fucking excuses. This is the year of the fucking soldier. We're going in like fucking Marines. You understand me?
Welcome to church, motherfucker.
Oh shit. It's that fucking day. It's Wednesday. The stimulus check still hasn't gotten there. I told you, who gives a fuck? There's no debtor's prison. You're slinging dick, you're alive, you're breathing, you got an apple. It could be worse. It could be worse. I saw the fucking cops tearing up the little homeless hut under the hunger. Did you see them?
No, I've seen them
10 cops to beat up on two little skinny homeless dudes with no mask on. Then they wonder why COVID's killing motherfuckers. You talk to a homeless guy, you better have the whole suit on. It's like you're going to the moon. You see those people who live under the tunnel? You go talk to them. Like, I bring them a sandwich, I throw it at them and run. Like, I can't. They got COVID. They got everything. They got shit that hasn't even hit yet.
Oh, my God. I would love to see you throw a sandwich at a homeless guy.
I do. I give him food. Dog, I'm the nicest. I pick certain homeless people, and there's a little Mexican guy in Lancashire. He walks around like he's lost. Every time I see him, I bang him out with a 20. The black dude up by In-N-Out Burger, he's not a bad guy. I try to bang him out, and then I got my personal bodyguard, fucking Rambo 2. The black guy, the return of the black guy. You know what I'm saying? Fear of the Black Planet. He's 6'6". What do you want to do? He finally got a haircut. I don't know who cut it.
He got a haircut?
I don't know how he cut it. He cut it himself. It looks fun. His head is, he's black dude, nice looking dude. but his afro square. Like, he just took, like, a fucking thing to it. His head looks like fucking a Kid and Play, like one of those.
Oh my
But he's
God.
looking good. I always duke him a 20 when I see him. You got to take care of your local homeless people. Forget these local little businesses. Fuck them. They want to sell antique chairs. They wonder why they're going out of business. Why are you torturing me for? You're in no danger. If you're selling antique chairs, you better get a fucking career and go in there and start filing nails or something.
Oh
Use
my
them.
God.
You're in no danger.
Every time I see a fire now, I think of Jewish lightning.
Oh, no.
Like in downtown the other day. That's all I can think about.
People are burning shit up. That's a bad fire downtown. That was a hash where they make hash oil. It actually hurt some of the firemen. My heart goes out to some of those guys. 10 firemen got blown off the ladder.
Holy moly, I didn't know that.
Like, yeah, that was a very bad fire the other night. So my heart goes out to you motherfuckers. Still the toughest people, the front line, through all this shit.
Yeah.
Look what we found. I remember Doug Stanhope. After 9/11, Doug Stanhope had one of the funniest fucking jokes going. And the joke went like this, that it was tough being like, for years if you were in the Marine, you got your dick sucked. But after 9/11, it wasn't cool to be a Marine or a fucking soldier. It was cool to be a fucking New York City cop. No, it was cool to be a fireman.
Yeah.
So firemen were getting their dick sucked left and right. Now it's cool to be a nurse. Like, if you're a nurse, you're getting your asshole eaten. People are spanking you in the ass. It's cool to be a fucking nurse now.
Yeah.
Like, it's amazing who rises from the fucking ashes after a disaster. Like, now they're the fucking front runners. Now we never thought how hard nurses worked and doctors work. Bro, I hate fucking emergency rooms. I think that's the worst job to ever sign up for.
Why?
Because there's too much uncertainty. I don't have the heart to work in an emergency room. Like, I remember as a kid going to emergency rooms and it just being a bad situation. Like,
I haven't been since I was a kid.
knock on wood. I don't even want to talk about it no more. Sorry I even brought it up.
Fuck it.
I'll tell you, let's talk about what I've been looking at in Lancashire lately. And now I see him in the fucking date. It's amazing what happens when people when people need money. I'm not laughing at no money. I know people are fucking living hard. It's hard for people. But it's really hard. When I first met Lee, I used to hang out. I used to go to the cafe. It was in Lancashire. I wasn't going to the store yet. And I'm not a fucking dummy, but there's things I'm not hip to, like we all are. Like, I could see a drug deal happening a mile away.
Yeah.
I saw one the other day.
Really?
Yeah, I was just, because I take weird rides, like I take weird rides, and I could spot a drug deal at CVS. They met at CVS.
Oh, shit.
So as I was walking in, like they were meeting, like he just got out of the car and they met at CVS to do the drug deal, which it's something I would do. CVS is a good spot. There's a lot of traffic there. But you notice different things, like there's things I'm not looking for. So I don't know, like I don't really notice it.
Right.
But when I first moved to the Valley, I would go to Lancashire midnight. And it'd be like after 9:30, which nothing is going on in Lancashire. Now it's coming to life. They're building a Whole Foods, and they've got like a massage place, Flexorama, like one of those chains, Massagerama.
Yeah.
They got Jimmy John's and something else, Firewood Pizza, and across the street they got like a protein thing and like a weird restaurant, like if you're on keto. They're starting to put a life over there. But 9 years ago, it was just a at night for 3 blocks.
Yeah.
And then there was Starbucks on Magnolia. Mm-hmm. And then there was the train, which is another block and a half. And the only thing on that corner is the Federal. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, if there's an episode when the black guy gets arrested in Sons of Anarchy, and they're bringing him around the side, there's a movie theater. It's the El Portal Theater. That went down there. But that's the only thing that's on Lancashire, guys, was the and the Federal. And I would sit there at night. I would call the Agostino, the guy who was on the podcast 3 weeks ago. This has got to be 10 years ago. And I go, Agostino, can I come down? And he'd go, yeah, come down, do the last spot. And I would go there, and I didn't want to sit inside, so I would sit outside. They had tables outside.
That's how we met, yeah.
And I would sit outside and go, like every 15 minutes, a chick would walk by herself. a black one, a white one, a black one, another black one. I never thought about it. They weren't bad looking, but, you know, I'm talking to D'Agostino. I'm talking to Adam Hunter. You know, I'm talking to the comics at the time that are hanging out there. And one night I'm like, you know what, man? This is too fucking crazy. These chicks are hookers.
Wow. Yeah.
They're hookers. And then you and I met a girl one day.
Yeah.
She asked you to go to Skinny's. I said, Lee, you're single, go with her. And the next day, you're like, she wanted $50 or whatever.
Oh, yeah, she wanted to.
And she had a black eye or something.
She had a bandage around her head. And you just left. You didn't tell me to go with her. I just turned around and suddenly you were gone.
Listen, I'm not here to cock block nobody.
Oh, that was the worst.
I see a chick with a bandage around her head. I'm all in. Either she's getting out or she just got hit in the head with something. Something's going on. I don't want to know nothing. But, you know, whatever. So, for years, they cleaned up Lancashire. They have a movie theater like Lemley's there. Mm-hmm. So, they really cleaned it up. I don't see nobody. You don't see fucking nobody. You come out here at night 6 months ago, you don't see nobody. The movie theater has people going in and out. The Japanese people burnt down the sushi place. They Jewish lightning and got caught. They burnt half the block down. He's going to jail.
Is he really?
Oh yeah, it was in the paper like 2 weeks ago. He's going to jail.
Oh wow.
They cut a deal. Something's going on. He's going to jail.
I remember when that happened.
Yeah, and then Joe from the coffee shop tried to beat him up, but the cops got there because he burnt down the coffee shop. The Jewish lightning went south. He went down. Yeah, listen, that's why Jews are good. They predict the wind. Japs don't know what the wind. That's for Indians and fucking Jewish people.
Yeah, leave it to us.
You know the downwind and shit. He lit the fire like upwind, and it went up the corner. It burnt the library, a gym, and Joe's coffee. Fuck. Yeah, he went the other way, the fire. So my point is, listen, if you're going to light a fire, just call a Jew. They know, or they know somebody. They got a relative who knows somebody how to light up. No, these are just jokes here. My point is that, so now we hit the crisis, right? And things are bad again. So I take my little rides because my daughter homeschools from 10 to 12. So I don't want to be a nuisance and have her know that she's in the office. So I leave them alone. I take a ride. I come here. I take out my notebooks and I make my calls or who I got to torture. I go to the weed store early and get that out of the way before all the German people go there. I try to do different fucking things at different times, right? And one night I went for a fucking ride. Like I was like, you know what? I need to go for a ride. So I took one of my fucking joints with me and I went to go to the YMCA. It was the night before they opened everything.
Right.
Did I talk about that? And I went in there and they were doing exercises and I couldn't go in there, so I parked in front of Brett's jiu-jitsu place.
Yeah.
And the hooker.
She made eye contact with you, yeah.
She made eye contact with me. But here's what gets better. Like, I just thought that was one night. Oh, no. It don't stop there. Guess what I saw today?
What?
A hooker at Gelson's.
At Gelson's?
Blacker than the night.
I think they get dropped off at grocery, because when I used to live on Sepulveda.
I'm telling you, right down the corner from your fucking house.
Oh, shit.
She was right there at 11:30 in the 11:48.
Wow.
Me and my wife could not fucking believe it.
Was she like searching for it, or was she getting picked up?
No, she was there looking at the stars. Yeah, she was looking for Dick.
Damn.
She was looking for Dick on the way out of the supermarket. And that's not the first time I've seen a black chick at Gelson's looking for Dick in broad daylight.
Well, we had that one that was like the walker, like around like the coffee shop. Like years ago, she was like the only one that survived.
I remember I showed her to Josh Wolf one time. We couldn't believe how hot she was. And she would wear blonde wigs, red wigs, and she would make eye contact with you. But they cleaned her up. She disappeared.
Oh.
But now that they're back, if you go to In-N-Out Burger now, if you drive up towards In-N-Out Burger, across the street, those city hotels, they're outside.
Oh.
They're standing outside, and they don't stand in clusters like they used to. Like, want to go out there for a little while. You could see it. Hookers have always intrigued me. Just that a woman would stand on a corner and take a chance with a guy in a car. That's the ballsiest fucking thing I've ever heard of in my life. Anybody can shake their tits on the internet. Big fucking deal. Ha ha ha. You know what I'm saying? Let me see you get down to the fucking corner.
Yeah.
And work a corner and be known to be on that corner. Like, to be known to be on that corner. Like, people know that you're there at midnight when they get out from work.
That is pretty wild.
And if you're not there, you'll be there in 30 minutes.
And I wonder how, I mean, obviously you hear horror stories, but people do it for years. So it can't go bad all the time.
Well, I don't know. Like, I don't even, like, I think Vegas is legal in Vegas.
Nevada, yeah.
Prostitution is legal in Nevada. I never really saw it in my face until the last time Joe took me to a UFC, and I left on a Friday night. I didn't wait for the fight. I took that 6 a.m. flight. You got to be at the airport at 5, and there were fucking hookers everywhere downstairs as I was checking out. It was mind-boggling to me. I didn't want, but if I see a hooker working in Vegas, like even at the South Point, when I used to work the South Point,
right?
The South Point is really good. They clean up. But one would slip in there from time to time.
Oh, yeah.
And while we were eating at the seafood clam bar in the corner there, I would watch them. When we'd have a table, I would see how they work, how they're, you know, what their operandi is, how they see the guy, and then they sit 2 from the guy, and then they make an excuse to sit next to the guy, you know what I'm saying? And then she gets up, and then he gets up 2 minutes later, and they walk out separate exits.
It's interesting that you're so interested by it, because I know you are like a self-admitted prude almost. Like, it's weird that like you're.
It's not that I'm a hooker guy.
No,
I'm not a hooker
you're
guy.
not at all. Yeah.
No, not at all. But the art of it has always. It's not that I respect it. Listen, whatever a woman wants to do with her body is her own fucking business. I applaud those girls. A couple weeks ago, I applauded that girl Jamie.
Right.
On my podcast, because she's broke. She's not showing her pussy. She's dancing with her titties or whatever. That takes a certain type of balls. You know, there's no waitressing. It's not like you get a waitressing job right now. It's not like you get an office job right now. You can't get a job as a secretary. Again, you can't get a job as a chef right now. I'm not saying women should be certain things. But it's even, you know, for a woman right now, what are you going to do? There's no waitressing jobs, nothing like this. So I have nothing against you. When I retweet a girl that's selling videos or something like that, first of all, I'm laughing because that's what Twitter has become.
Yeah.
For some women, they're selling videos on there. The hot mom from Texas, the one that always sells the gangbangs. I show my wife and we howl. My wife can't believe that they allow that on Twitter. I'll be sitting there and I go, honey, look at this tape. And she's just getting dicked from 8 different directions. And
you show the actual tape?
It's on Twitter. And so we'll be watching TV at night. I'll check my messages and I'll go to Twitter to see what's on Twitter, just to see if anybody messaged me or somebody, you know, wrote something.
Right.
And when I open up homepage, she's always on there getting fucked. It's the same old video. And she'll say, I just sold 3 more videos on Hotbod. Go to Hotbod XXX or something like that.
Right.
But it's live. She's sucking a dick. There's one video she made with her fucking playing with a pussy in front of the electrician.
Damn.
Oh, it's fucking craziness. And they don't take it. I don't understand. There's a friend of mine that I know who does porno. And that's what she told me. She goes, it's really weird. And she doesn't even do porn anymore. This was 5 years ago. She goes, if I would put a clip up, they would take it off. But if Red Band's old girlfriend would put a clip on, they would leave it on. It's really weird, the selection. I think if they get certified or... because the dog, listen, there's another girl there that I became friends with online. Do you remember the girl that I retweeted and then she got pissed off at me because I retweeted her? She thought I was goofing on her.
Yeah.
And then she said that she was getting threats, but then she hit me back and she goes, I sold like 200 videos. Thank you. It's really weird. If I see a girl shaking her ass on Twitter, I might give her a retweet. There's one that's really annoying. I don't even know what her name is. She's got to go.
How can you be annoying taking your titties out?
Oh, she's just, because she's like a washed up porno star. she's washed up, but like everything, she's lost everything. Like Tabitha Stevens is still beautiful.
Yeah.
She's not washed up. She's still fucking beautiful, Tabitha Stevens. You know, I retweeted her the other day. She thanked me.
I saw that after.
Yeah, she looked fucking beautiful. She was throwing heat. She doesn't give a fuck. But there's some of them that it's time for them to go. Like, they didn't get the memo yet. Like, it's time to go. Nobody wants... And she's the worst one because she makes a pussy squirt. So, like, you'll be fucking going on your homepage on Twitter, and all of a sudden you see... And she's got the ugliest pussy. It squirts, like, crooked.
No.
It looks like my dick, like it's got, like, a turtleneck. So, like, when I piss, I have to pull the skin back. If not, the piss will go everywhere like a flap. Like, if it's a 50-50. That's why I always pick up the toilet. I'm always a gentleman. Because if I leave the skin down... I can just pee on my pants. I get it everywhere.
Why do you leave the skin down then?
No, I never do.
Oh, okay.
But I got to pull the skin back.
Okay.
So,
Oh my! That image of your hand flapping around is gonna be.
I'm sorry. I know you're Jewish. We shouldn't be talking about.
Yeah, I have no
circumcision.
idea. Oh my god.
Anyway, it's great to be here on a fucking Wednesday. You're still alive. Who's better than you, cocksuckers? Nobody. 8 weeks we've been under fucking acquisition. What do they call that shit?
Quarantine.
Quarantine. Whatever the
Acquisition.
killing people, fake numbers. I don't even know no more who to believe. All I know is we got a great guest for you. Listen, guys, I love it when I do a podcast with somebody and you guys enjoy it and you guys feel a certain chemistry. Because the better friends you are with somebody, the better the podcast. Because the better the stories, the longevity they've got, the friendship they've got, and the warmth they have. A lot of people want me to do their podcast, and I don't know them. It's just an interview. Sometimes I hate interviewing people. It's just a conversation. This guest that I have on today is one of my favorite people in Los Angeles. I got to tell you, he's one of my best friends. He's fucking down as fuck for me. He was there when my daughter was born with a camera. He showed up. I mean, we went out to breakfast. We've been on the road together. We've been friends for 20 years, and I love him to death. And I'm proud of him, that what he's done with this show, Midnight Gospel, because it really is the mind of Duncan Trussell. And he fucking put me in his show. Like, you know, when guys like him and Greg Garcia call you up, you feel like honored. So, Duncan Trussell, ladies and gentlemen, kick this fucking muley. There he is.
Hey,
the
what's up,
master
man?
of the fucking universe. My little brother, look at him. With fucking clouds behind you. I like it. I got to get that effect. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, man. It's all about the green screen these days, Joey. That's where we're at right now.
How are you, brother?
I'm great.
How's your
I'm
family
really
doing?
good, man. What about you?
Good. How's your child?
Oh, man. Beautiful. Just beautiful. Happy. You know, my wife is just killing it. You know, she's... I'm just so in love with her, man, watching her be with a baby. It's the most psychedelic, beautiful thing that ever happened to me. And he's just great, you know. He did his first joke, you know, at me, which is, you know, he's learned the word boo-boo. And my feet are so fucked up that his thing is to like point at my feet and go, boo-boo. Boo-boo. I'm like, no,
How
it's
old is
not.
he now, Duncan?
16 months.
How fun?
It's the best.
How much fun? How much
It's the
fun?
best.
You know, you wish they don't go to sleep at night. You're like, let
What's
them hang
that?
out. Let them hang out. Like at night, your wife's like, all right, it's bedtime. And you're like, mind your business. Let them hang out.
I know.
Where the fuck they go?
I know.
In the
There's
morning?
times where you want to go wake him up.
Yeah, I do. I go in there in the middle of the night sometimes, like at 1, and put my head on his stomach and rub her arm. And I
that's
whisper
awesome.
shit. You're in no danger of waking that little bitch up. Cosby got
really?
to her. Oh, my daughter, she sleeps like a Cosby victim. You understand me? She goes deep into the murky waters of the underworld. I've even told her, I go, you ever get up at night? Come in the living room. Maybe we'll do some snacks. Maybe we'll watch a movie. And she looked at me like, really? Yeah.
Wow, he's nowhere near that age, man. He's still at the age where if his sleep cycle gets fucked up, he's grumpy the next day. He's still at that age where and he's in a crib still,
What times he got to hit the crib at night?
Yeah.
What times he go to bed? What time you put him
7, 6:30 or 7.
And he sleeps the whole night straight?
Yeah.
That's
Most of the
phenomenal.
time.
That's
He has
fucking
nightmares
phenomenal.
sometimes. It scares the shit out of me.
Well, he's your kid. What do you expect? He's got. You don't think that there's some leftover sperms, leftover acid, and fucking hallucinogenics, and that one nut when you got her pregnant? There's got to be something going. When my daughter was born, she just looked around for a little while. I'm like, oh no, she caught 20 milligrams of an edible one day. No, they do. They catch that shit. And then you'll see them eating one day. And all of a sudden, you'll see him going to that's a little flashback from the womb. You know what I'm saying?
I know.
Fuck
no,
it.
I know, man.
And look
you
at
do see
us.
that.
Not to disrespect your mother or my mother, but those bitches smoked cigarettes. They drank Clorox. In the 60s and 70s, moms didn't give a fuck. They drank alcohol. It was still all right for them to drink alcohol on the fetus. They were out doing jumping jacks. They didn't give a fuck. Now they're out running and jogging. In the 70s, these bitches in the 60s used to smoke cigarettes 9 months pregnant.
My brother, this is one of the stories my dad liked to tell. So apparently my mom and my dad, they were using like an 80-year-old pediatrician, right? Like he was this old Southern pediatrician. And so he died. And they took my brother when he's a little baby to a new pediatrician. And, you're just going through all the stuff that you give to the baby. And the new pediatrician is like, what are you doing? The old pediatrician had been giving my brother laudanum, which is opium. So which is an old school, just like an old school medicine that they would give kids when they were crying. So when my, brother was a little baby, he was getting hardcore opium, like the kind you would drink back in the opium dens in the 1800s.
Where's this doctor today? We should look that cocksucker up and throw him an envelope.
I know, man. Now I want the fucking laudanum. I'd love that.
Can you imagine a couple fucking smokes of opium on a Friday night? You just sit there. Or you get a Chinese chick to play the violin for you. You have no idea where that takes
I know,
you.
Those are the good old days.
Those are the good old days. Now we got to live legit. Now, not only do we have to live legit, you have to live in the spotlight. You have come out with one of the most mind-boggling, animated, I don't even know what to call it. It's a hybrid, animated, 10 years from now, people are going to be watching this in midnight movie theaters. 16-year-olds are going to get high. Because I watched 2 episodes, I'm like, this shit it's too crazy. I know what this needs. This needs mushroom, maybe a fucking shot of heroin. You need to do drugs before you do midnight gospel, all right, before you even get into it. What you did was totally a mind explosion. I know you had a partner on it.
Yeah.
But I saw a lot of the mind of Duncan Trussell. The thing at the end with moms, you just hit it out of the fucking park, kid.
Thank you.
I mean, but you hit it out of the park and you did a Roberto Clemente. It was so beautiful, it landed perfectly. It just hit at the right time when America needed it. Netflix is never going to tell you the numbers, but it exceeded millions because people were home. It came out in a great fucking time. And I know you hooked me up. You gave me a couple fucking voices that were tremendous.
Yeah.
First episode, I'm yelling weed. I watched it with my daughter the first time for about 3 minutes. Then you started saying fuck. She just looked at me. I go, it's time for you to abandon ship. I think this is adult entertainment. And
it's not a kid show.
It's a great show, but not if you, if she was 9 and I'm trying to create a savage, yeah, why not?
Yeah.
But I'm not trying to create a savage. And Duncan, I got to tell you something during this whole thing. It's just great to see you.
Great to see you, Joey. I miss you, man.
I miss you too, brother.
This is fucked up. I mean, it's fucked up. I wanted to talk to you. I wanted to ask you, first of all, thanks for watching the show, man. And I didn't hook you up. You hooked me up by being on the show. Thank you for being on the show. You killed it. You know what's really cool about you, man, is that you're not just a great comic, one of the great comics. You work your ass off to be an actor. And so when, you see you working for the first time, getting to see different people the way they work in a VO booth, and seeing people who are trained, everyone did a great job. But like seeing people like you and Phil Hendry who are trained actors and watching, all those years and years and years of work come out in the room. And not just that, but the way you're like connecting with everyone in the room. You're like doing this thing, which is really, really cool to watch. I love watching. I don't care what it is, man. I love watching people who are experts at stuff. You know what I mean? Whatever.
With voiceovers, you have to go into the room and connect with everybody in that room. If you want this project to go well, I have to let my ego go and let the 4 guys who know what they're doing guide me. You tell me, I'm directable. You tell me you tell me bang my head on the wall. That's a job. I accept it. I'll bang my head off the wall to get the visual that you need, Yeah. So working with you guys was also a fucking pleasure because it seemed like just go in there and do what you need to do. Do it this way, do it that way, do it this way. We have forgotten how to create anymore. The reason why I wanted to talk to you today is because you created something. Everything is so put together. Go watch like a movie that's 3 years old that was big 3 years ago. You watch it now and you're like, that was put together. This is acting, casting. Not with your show. I felt it. I felt the characters. I felt the richness, the stabbing the guy in the ass. You took so much from your world and put it into this. And listen, man, I cheer for everybody. But for this one, I went nuts. I applauded.
Thanks, man.
I turned my nieces onto it because my one niece is a real nerd. And when I hit her with it, she goes, I've seen the trailer. I can't wait for it to come out. I go, your fucking Uncle Joey's in it. Go for it.
Wow.
Then I send her a picture of a black guy putting a firecracker in his eye and blowing it up.
I saw that, dude. I showed my wife that. You're like, I want to get stoned with this guy.
How fun is he? Just doing a couple lines of coke and saying, like every 10 minutes, instead of having a Chinese guy and Boogie Nights, just having him, listen, put a firecracker in your eye. I'll give you an extra gram of blow and drive you to the hospital. No worries. By the time I get through with that poor guy, there'll be no eyes left in the state. What else you been doing?
Joey, what do you think's going to happen? Man, this is the thing that has been dawning on me because I guess I'm slow as fuck. But, I've been thinking, like, what's going to happen to stand-up comedy? The other day I was talking to my booking agent and, just getting the lowdown on what's happening out there. And the whole industry is paralyzed right now. And, I just was wondering, what's your take on it, man? You've been hitting the road for so long. Like, what are you what is out there? What signal are you getting out there?
My situation is as follows. And this is, everybody's situation is different in this. You have a wife, you have a child, you like creating, you're very comfortable creating different things. You've always done great. This isn't your first time at the rodeo. You have other shows that you've sold before. Yeah. And finally you found the one. You got to kiss a couple frogs before you meet a prince. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
So for a guy like you right now, you're safer than fuck. I'm just waiting for Netflix to put in the second order for the second season. I'm not jinxing you, but they'd be crazy if they wouldn't. So you've got another year covered. Okay? That's you. Myself, I do videos for, different corporate events and the podcast. We're not getting rich, but we're afloat. Okay?
Yeah.
As far as the road is concerned, hey, I don't know who this fucking Fauci guy is. And I don't know who half these people are that are telling us what's going on. I know that I've had friends that have had it, and I had a kid that I went to high school with died from it. I want to give him Dave Phillips, rest in peace. I had to beat him up one day because I thought he robbed my house. We were like 15. Somebody robbed my house, and they put him on me, and I caught him in a bowling alley hallway. He couldn't get out. I caught him in the fucking hallway. And I apologized to him later when I found out who robbed my house.
Yeah.
And over the years, we connected, and we were dear on Facebook. Here's one of those sad stories that went to the hospital, and they sent him home, and then went back and died in the hospital.
God damn.
So I don't know what's going on with conspiracies. I don't know if you should wear a mask. I don't know if you should put Clorox in your veins. I don't know if you should. I know, I'll tell you what's going to work for Joe Diaz. I just told you what's going to work for Duncan, and I'm going to tell you what's going to work for Joe Diaz. Joe Diaz is probably going to do some type of residency at the Brea Improv. 2 Tuesdays a month, maybe 1 Wednesday a month up in Oxnard. And I'm going to continue to wear a mask. I'm going to continue social distancing times 10. No headshots, no nothing. No nothing. Basically, no nothing. I mean, I got to know who you are and what your background is. I have a system for comedy. You know how you've been in a comedy club, and when you get there, you're not in the door 2 minutes, and there's 10 knocks on your door with 10 people who want to know what song you want to go on, what you want to eat. They want to introduce themselves. There's a girl here named Melissa. Do you want? No.
Yeah.
So I'm cutting that down to one person. Every club's going to have a COVID advocate.
Right.
Mask, gloves, pick us up, clean car. I want to smell the Lysol. And that's, I'm just going to feel out the waters. If it's too crazy, I pull the plug. I've been doing this for 30 years. I got nothing to be embarrassed about. It's better to quit ahead than quitting. It's a big fucking difference.
Yeah.
And
But what about just from financially, if they're going to do like half, if they're going to fill the room with half as many people, I mean, that affects everything. That affects the club's overhead. That affects everybody.
Listen, it's called the COVID-19, but what it should be really called is pay cut.
Yeah.
Remember Paul Mooney? You and I grew up on Paul Mooney.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, he'd look at us and say, man, you got your nigga wake-up call. Everybody gets that nigga wake-up call. No matter what color you are. I'm not being racist. I'm just telling you the truth. We just got our nigga wake-up call. You know, the flights, people are not traveling, hotels, you want to do it. You want to do an interesting, you want to write a new series of Midnight Gospel, all you got to do is go to La Cienega and make a left onto Melrose and drive down Melrose. That's the new season of Midnight Gospel. So I don't know. I don't have a fortune ball in front of me. Number one, I don't want none of my friends to get hurt. And then number two, I don't want anybody who comes to my show to get that shit.
Right.
So how guilty would I feel for $25? You came to see some fat fucking fella and crack jokes, and you got COVID-19 now for 4 days. You know, I love these people that they reel them out of the hospital rooms, and they're clapping, and they're like, he's been here for 40 days. Wait till that motherfucker gets the bill. Wait till he gets the bill. Especially in New York. Wait till he gets the bill. So there's a lot of tumbling that's going to happen that we haven't even seen yet. You know, we stay closed till July 15th. We're not going to have that much comedy left to do here in Los Angeles. You know, they might be up in the rural areas, whatever. But for the most part, listen, you got your health.
Yeah.
You've got your child. You've got your little show. That's a fucking tremendous show. It's the mind of Duncan Trussell, and that's all we need to worry about right now. Nobody, I can't call you up and say, Duncan, I don't know if I can make your birthday December 9th this year. How bad is that? We live in a society right now that I don't know what November 8th is going to be like.
Right.
I don't know if I could fly home to see you Thanksgiving. I don't know if I could, I don't know. How are you going to feel when you step on a plane and reality hits? And all of a sudden United told you the plane is 40% full, but you got like a guy like me sweating, sitting in the middle seat, pork fucking grinds on your shoulder. How are you going to feel? So this is going to take a time to heal. Where are you at right now as process of healing? Let's talk about it, because this is like mourning. What happened was we said goodbye to our old life. You've already mourned your dad. You've mourned your mom, which you haven't even started to yet within.
Right.
But now we have a third mourning, which is this. Our old lives. Life, what life used to be like. When I could see Duncan give you a hug and pick you up.
Yeah.
Now I got to fucking do a straw, a line or something, give it to you and light it on fire. We can't even use the same line. You know, how do you feel right now post your old life?
You know, man, you know how that shit is. It's hitting me in waves. It's like where it really started hitting me is when I realized, you know, oh yeah, the Comedy Store is, you know, I was thinking like, what are the reasons I stay in LA? And you know, one of the big reasons was the Comedy Store. I only went up there Fridays and Saturdays, but that was everything. I mean, I loved that, you know, or even just knowing I could go up there, or knowing if I wanted to on any night, I could drive there and see friends and hang out and just, you know, absorb the energy at the place. And so that is what's hitting me the hardest, man, is I keep thinking of Mitzi, and I keep thinking of all those names on the wall, and I keep thinking of all those years that, you know, different people worked to keep that place afloat, and all the times that it was going to shut down. And I just keep thinking of how expensive it is to have a place on Sunset Boulevard. And I just keep thinking like, damn, I mean, let's say they do open up, but you can only do half capacity. And, you know, I just keep, you know, for me, I just wonder what's going to happen to that place. And then from there, you know, I don't know if you've been reading about this, but all these like, you know, staple clubs in LA are really probably going to shut down, man. They can't stay open. They got to pay rent, and they can't. They've got no money coming in. So I keep thinking of like all these places. For me, it's the Comedy Store. There's many other places like that are communities that are based around a structure that, you know, is not going to, but, you know, it's how long can that sustain itself? So for me, I keep thinking of that. Then I keep thinking of like, fuck, is LA going to turn into Detroit? Is the same thing that happened in Detroit going to happen to LA, which is, you know, what's going to probably happen in San Francisco? Any place where people begin to realize that the incredible price of living there, which was worth it for all the great shit that you could do. Now, what do you got? You're paying all this money to live in the fucking place. The business tax here is insane, and you can't go do stand up. What if the Comedy Store shuts down, man? I haven't heard anything about that. I have no idea. Hope it doesn't. But if the Comedy Store shuts down, I you know, and I can't see you in the flesh, I don't understand why I'm going to stay in LA. Because, you know, if we do get so lucky that we get to do a second season, we're definitely going to be telecommuting for that. You know, like it's not like you're going to bring animators in to potentially risk getting sick when they can all work from home anyway. So then, you know, that would be the other reason to stay here in LA. What, are people going to go on commercial auditions now? Fuck no. It's all going to be telecommuting for auditions anyway. So I just keep thinking the city itself is going to, you know, I don't think people really quite realize how fucked it is here, man. I don't know. I haven't heard much on it, but like there's people paying $2,000 a month for a 400, 500 square foot studio apartment because they wanted to break into comedy or whatever, right? Now you can't do stand up. You know, these are the people who are driving Ubers and shit. Well, what are they doing? And what about all the other people who are working here? And what about all the people?
Uber laid off 3,500 people or 350 people.
Yeah.
And at least they have food. What about Lyft?
Lyft has nothing. So what I can tell you is this. I'm going to drop some pounds. I'm still going to be high risk because of my age and blood pressure, which I have it pretty much under control. Excuse me for that little protein shake burp. I went for a little bike ride this morning.
No problem.
For me, I got to be honest with you. I'm high risk. Not as high risk as a lot of other people. I have some muscular to me. I work out. I still get a hard on. I'm still halfway there. I want them to open up the businesses. But right now, just a couple of them, little by little, to see how people... My whole thing is the reaction of the people.
Yeah.
The reaction of the people. Will social distancing work? I will tell you, as an observant guy, I'm always looking for cops and drug deals. You know me, I'm a fucking wackadoo. That just, it's unnatural for us to social distance. Our own being attracts us to other people by mistake.
Yeah.
If every time I see you, I got to take the fucking ruler out, 6 feet, whatever, 10 feet. Just all that shit. That's not going to work. The mask, wearing a mask cuts your chances down by 18% or whatever. We're coming up last. If we open up with sporting events, baseball games, that's when comedy comes back. Now, there's two trains of thought here, Duncan. You and I both know that if the Comedy Store opens in August and they open at 170% capacity in the main room, how long is that going to last?
Yeah.
Peter's a businessman, but that's it. I don't think a lot of comedy clubs are going to last if this goes to August or whatever. Even if they open up next week, you're opening up a week before Labor Day. You've been home since March 15th. Nobody wants to see some fucking guy at night sitting indoors.
Right.
A lot of people low financially. The thing I think about all the time is the financial woe in this country.
Yeah.
We don't see it because we hang out with people who make $100,000 a year, $90,000 a year.
Yeah.
But I talk to people on the phone every day who make $60,000 a year. And they're not going to be going to concerts for a long time.
Right.
A lot of people aren't going to be doing a lot of things for a long time. So I'm just really focusing on my health right now.
Yeah.
Focusing on writing. Did I even say comedy writing? Focusing on writing. I'm not even writing comedy. Why am I wasting that energy for?
Right.
Whatever material we were working on, throw it away. Because you're going to have a new mindset after that. This is going to change you. This is going to change all of us. Because it's going to make us think for the first time how we haven't thought about in years. Right. We have a lot of free time to think right now. And some of it is good and some of it is bad. But soon enough, it'll all become good and it'll clear the way for what's coming up in the next couple months.
Right.
But I just don't want you or any of my friends or anybody who listens to this podcast to... Tonight is May 15th, correct? Tonight they could open up places. I hope that you're not going to a club tonight.
Right.
I hope that if you buy a gram of blow, you stay home and do it with one of your friends and try them out first. You got to build your immune system. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you're not going to
shit.
go to fucking Club Fresh. Go to a gay club with three of them, 3 gay guys. Start talking to them. Take your gram of blow. Lower your fucking resistance. And see where you're at,
Right.
I don't see. I'm going to be honest with the church family and with you, Duncan, because I always am. The other night, I usually go to the weed store in the morning to keep the percentages of germs down. I do all my errands early. I had to go to Walgreens this morning. I was there at 8:01. All right, because they spray that mist at night.
Yeah.
So I go in the morning to avoid that stuff. What was I going with the story?
How do you feel about going out? You were at places early. You went to the weed store.
Well, I went to the weed store the Friday night. I was bored, and they've got these new pills over at Urban Trees called Ultra. These pills will fuck you up. I ate like 8 of them, and I was actually fucking, when I drooling, what's the other word? When you slurring. The first night I took them, I ate the whole can. Even my wife was like, what are you doing with your life? I was fucking slurring. So I've been eating these Pro Tabs. I drink a fucking Quickies because I gave up the edibles because the edibles were backfiring on me. They were taking me to a dark place. Once I got away from the dark place, now I'm back with the edibles. It's fucking Wednesday. We got to get the party started.
Yeah.
I already did business Monday and Tuesday.
Yeah.
I'm with my brother Duncan. And but going back to your question, I don't want to do stand-up on the road for at least 9 months. I will set up a residency here, work on a whole new hour. I'm going to see what people's reaction are. Are people still going to want to come shake your hand and touch you? And, hey, excuse me, can we do a selfie? Right now, listen right now closely, people. If you're listening to this, and this comes directly from me, Duncan, and I'm sure I can speak for Ari Shafir when I say this, take that selfie stick and that selfie thought and shove it up your mother's ass. There ain't no more selfies in comedy, all right? You want to send a selfie, do it like what everybody else does. Send me a 20, I'll send you a side shot of one of the nut sacks, and I'll autograph it for you. How's that? Give that to Grandma for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I got you, man. That's cool. Yeah, I think, one thing I think that is going to happen is that, and which I think is going to be spectacular, because, it's easy to get on the dark side of this shit. But, it's like, when I interviewed, one of my favorite interviews was with this guy who worked at this place called Singularity University up in San Francisco. It's Ray Kurzweil, Peter Diamandis, the Google people, just basically the techno Illuminati, where, have this place, I don't know if it's still there, up in San Francisco, where they're sort of trying to figure out what the fuck's going to happen when computers, wake up. And they and it's not just like a philosophical exploration, it's a business exploration, because if you're running a business, you need to understand what the technological landscape's going to look like next year, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, so you can begin to plan for that and start actually inventing shit based on technology that doesn't exist yet, but that is going to exist. And so otherwise you're way behind the curve and you're fucked. And so when I went in there, man, this was years ago, they had just done a seminar and they had all these grease boards up that had shit written on them. I wish I'd taken pictures of it, man, because it was like a map of the next goddamn 10 years. All these predictions, they all came true. And I remember looking at them in those days and thinking, that's pretty weird. For example, they were writing like, what are the dangers of this? What do we have to worry about in the next 5 years? And one of the things they wrote down was, what happens in a society where everyone's being surveilled, where everyone's being recorded, where everyone's being digitally tracked, whether they know it or not, if in 5 years a law changes and people broke the law 5 years before the law became a law, but they're on video breaking the fucking law, right? Now that was loosely they were predicting Me Too, which is that suddenly, you know what I mean? They were predicting, they were talking about what happens if social changes happen very quickly and people have, records of doing shit that becomes socially completely impermissible. What's going to happen? And you're looking at we saw what happened is all these fucks who were like operating as like complete scum and who were depending on people not being able to connect and talk about it. They all got fucked completely from that. And that wasn't the only thing that they were talking about. The other thing they were talking about that was really spooky, Joey, is that as technology becomes more amplified, the ability for radicals to cause damage in society is going to exponentially increase, meaning that genome editing, for example, was going to become increasingly less expensive to get the equipment you need to do genome editing. So you could start doing like CRISPR shit, DNA shit in your fucking, warehouse that you're renting for $1,000 a month. You could get all the equipment you needed for maybe $100,000 as opposed to millions and millions and millions of dollars. Essentially what we're doing with podcasting right now. We've all become our own TV stations. We've all become our own networks. And to do that, 20 years ago would have cost you countless millions of dollars. So anyway, man, it was like a really creepy thing because he's like, eventually it's going to be that any individual on the planet is going to get to the point where they might be able to launch their own satellite or shoot down satellites, So this was like a thing they were talking about. But the main thing he said is the reason any of this shit is happening is because of market pressure. People want faster phones. And because you want faster phones, it's putting all this money into studying like artificial intelligence. Like you look on Instagram and you can do that dumbass thing where you get the dog ears. It just tracks it to your head. Dude, 10 years ago, that would have taken all day long if you wanted to try to do that tracking, right? Now it does it instantaneously, right? It's insane. We just take it for granted. That's an AI that's doing that, by the way. So what I think the silver lining of this is that there is now an intense market pressure to recreate the performance stage in virtual reality. I'm not saying the sad way that people are trying to do it now. And, my hat's off to flappers or whoever the fuck's trying to do stand-up comedy shows on Zoom. It's just not going to work. I don't think that's going to necessarily work. But I think that we're going to see the emergence of some kind of technology that isn't shit, that is going to let people perform. I don't know if it's VR. I don't know what it is without having to worry about getting COVID. And also, if we do get that, holy shit, man, that's like the best thing that ever happened to stand-up comedy. Like if you could recreate the original room digitally and actually do it, even come close to it, the reverb in the room, all that stuff can already be recorded, man. I use software that can duplicate famous sound stages, like places where the Beatles recorded and shit. They go in there and look at the geometry, look at the acoustic quality, and they can digitally replicate that. So you can get the reverb in the same place that, the White Album was recorded or whatever, right?
So this is what I'm thinking.
What's that?
This is what I was thinking. I'm thinking when it comes to comedy, this is an option. Not for guys like you and I, but for option for the Chappelles, the Rogans, the Burrs. I'm in contact with a well-known manager to a music band, one of the best bands in the world. We met by mistake, and we talked 3 days a week. And, Live Nation, because of the money and everything, they were talking of doing the tour, but virtual. The whole tour would be virtual. So you sit in your fucking house, and you watch this fucking concert, whatever. I like it, but I don't like it, because I like energy from people.
Yeah.
Stand-up is 62% energy from people.
Yeah.
I want to see a waitress slip and a glass break. So This is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking a guy like me in a year and a half could do an improv and sell out the weekend. But the reason why I can't do the theater is because they're going to go so backed up with the heavier duty comics.
Yeah.
So I'm also prepared. This guy from this band, they're going to use this service. And the service is basically, what can you put in the room, Duncan? 300 people? Put the 300 in. Put the service in and allow it to the whole state for that night.
Yeah.
So they have an 8 o'clock show and a 10 o'clock show. They could either pay $12.50 to watch it live, or, I don't know, $12.50 the next day if they missed it,
Yeah.
That might be an option. I mean, they're talking about 1,000 things, but the problem is we're going into the unknown not knowing.
Yeah.
That's the biggest problem we have right now. If I could look you in the face and say, guess what? This thing is going to be over in October. Then you and I could talk. You and I, we could jerk off to October 15th. And then we got to start making projects for this fucking note October 1st.
Yeah.
They're not telling you that.
No.
They're selling you it's going to come back strong with the flu, different mutations, and we're still talking about maybe just missiling China to death, which is an option also that people have no idea could be, because not everybody's happy with China right now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Well, all it needs is 3 motherfuckers to say, I'm not happy with them either. How about you, Duncan? They got to go. That's it. We'll call our other 3 friends, and all of a sudden it's fucking the year of the fucking firecracker. So we don't know what we're going into. Your child is 16 months. My child is 7. She's going back to school August 18th. But it's already proposed that she's not going to see a classroom until January of 2022, guys.
That's right.
I do not feel comfortable with that whatsoever. I've gone from being a comedian, R-rated comedian with a GED, to an assistant principal, gym teacher, / entertainment arts director.
Yeah.
Interesting. I love what I'm doing, but the child needs more.
Yeah, right.
The child needs that intercommunication. Yeah, she fucking Skypes with her buddies and she FaceTimes with her kids, but you need to get thrown to the floor. You need what it feels like to fall off a tree.
Yeah.
So I'm worried about a lot of things. I'm worried about those things more than I don't give a fuck about stand-up and when it comes back.
Right.
It'll come back when it's ready. You know what? Elton John's making a comeback. Yoko talked to Frankenstein's uncle. They're bringing him back in 2002. This just bought people time. For me, this bought us time. Just bought us time to get naturally brain healthy again.
Yeah.
The last 10 years have been heavy for people. You've gotten married. You moved to New York. You lived in Pasadena. You got married. You had a kid. You sold the show. Yeah. When was the last time you sat and thought for a minute? When you were in high school? That summer before you left?
Yeah.
You're going to call me one day and go, hey, man, we got picked up, but I could do this in Oregon and save $62,000 a year in taxes. I love you to death. I got a house with an extra bedroom. You're always welcome with mercy.
Yeah.
Right now, you got to look at percentages. You're looking at least dense populations. Yeah, me and you right now, Duncan, we should get money, get Lee, and just invest in fucking buying people out in New York for dirt because they want to get out of the buildings. We could become slumlords and wait 5 years for those buildings to come up and COVID to be forgotten about. By that time, Arabs will be fucking you in the ass with hummus as lube anyway. What are you worried about COVID for? You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, there's a lot of things we could be doing, but...
Well, I mean, I would like to hear, you talked about it at the beginning, Duncan, about things changing, but you, Duncan, just did a show with a lot of it based on your podcast. Joey, you, 10 years ago, didn't have a cell phone, and now you have a podcast, you're doing videos. Things change. I think this is scary because it's happening all at once, but don't you think, we don't need to be in LA to shoot TV shows anymore.
No,
we don't.
That's
need
what I'm talking about.
We could do. You could.
The shows are so bad we can live without them.
Right, and you could
compare. There's 3 shows that you're gonna watch out of 100 that are made. The studios should just shoot themselves and put the podcasters on all day. Leave Days of My Lives on, General Hospital for old people.
No, it's great.
But the
for
programming,
us, it's great.
How do you think the filming scene is going to go back? You being an intelligent guy, what if tomorrow somebody offered Duncan Trussell, just like they did the guys from, what's that movie I did, basketball? What's the...
Train Matt.
Trey and Matt, what? What are they? The Parker? What are they?
South Park.
The South Park guys. What if somebody tomorrow comes to you and says, Duncan, just from your network, I want you to do a movie. Yeah. And I want us to start shooting November 5th for a June release. How do you look at this movie now? How do you look at extras? How do you look at serving food and wardrobe and the people on the set? Is he really necessary, or is this union bullshit?
Right.
testing before. I'm hearing things that if Duncan shoots a movie in Atlanta and it's an 8-week show and I shoot week 3 and week 8, I can't go home in between weeks. I have to stay in Atlanta at your cost.
Fuck
Because
that.
they don't want me to go back to my family and come back and bring it to you. They're talking about a lot of crazy stuff. So I think animation is really going to be high until they figure all this stuff out.
For sure, man. I mean, absolutely. Yeah, that's no question about it. Animation is the future for a while, and I love that because I think animation
I love it
is
too.
great.
It's going to free up a lot of stuff.
You should love it, man, because you're really good at doing voices.
Yeah,
and,
I want to try. I don't know how to do voices. I know how to do my voice and how to use it to mug people on TV.
You can like with Phil Hendry. What was so crazy working with him is because he's been doing VO forever. And the way he could dial in what you wanted. So you would start in this broad way, kind of telling him sort of what the character was. And then technically, he's technically a genius. He could just dial it in, until finally you like zoom in on exactly the voice you were hoping for. And then it's like he stays on that voice. And it's like in his head is a menu of hundreds of different voices. And you just find the one that like works for the character. And then he can dial that in perfectly. There isn't a lot of like fumbling or searching for it or getting off track with that voice. It's incredible, man. But with you, what you were doing with the same thing energetically, and what was cool, that was the thing Mitzi always said about comics versus actors is comics play themselves, actors play other people. And so like you and Polly, when I was writing, I was able to write for your voice, like I already knew your voice and it was easy to write for you, which is another cool thing about animation, man. It's awesome. But I'm not talking about movies or TV or anything like that. I'm talking about something even crazier than that, which is like, this is where I'm like, I love what's happening, dude. I'm talking about a global consciousness happening right now. I'm talking about an economy that's no longer based on living near where you work. Man, why aren't people fucking talking about this, man? That's what's going to happen. We're talking, it's no longer going to be, you have to move your body to some fucking overcrowded, super expensive fucking place so you can toddle your body into some fucking office and sit there next to people in a cubicle and only see them when you're going to take a shit or get coffee. You know what I mean? That's not going to happen. So now that means that businesses are going to exist not based on some like city. They're going to exist as these weird global conglomerates where workers from all over the planet have equal access to getting that job. They don't have to move to the place anymore. And this is where shit gets weird, man, which is like all these fucking cities that were essentially had like chained people to the city because of the archaic idea that you got to be in a building with people to make shit that you're making with your mind. These cities are fucked, Joey. It's not like you're going to be able to like buy property somewhere. Why be in a city? A lot of people live like in the outskirts of LA, and every morning they wake up and they drive to, wherever the fuck, Studio City, wherever to work. They drive 2 hours there, 2 hours back because they had to get their body into the place to have these fucking meetings with people that everybody knows could have happened remotely. But they had to do it because it was a superstitious idea that work was better if people get their bodies together, smell each other's fucking farts. Dude, it was the weirdest. When I was working on Midnight Gospel, which I love, man. I love being in the office.
I could tell when I went there, all 4 times, that you were really happy. They were happy. That it was a different vibe.
Yeah, Titmouse is badass.
Before you say something else, it really surprised me that you had gotten involved with Midnight Gospel because years ago, you and I had a pretty intense conversation about the project before or the project that you had worked on before that.
Yeah.
If I'm throwing you under the bus, I'm sorry. And
no, you're not.
You said that it was a year of your life. It sucked you dry like a vampire. Yeah. And when you did the math, that you ended up making, $6.82 an hour or something like
Yeah.
that. So I was very surprised. What drew you to this project?
Well, man, that was, the reason that thing didn't. This is why I think, fail. This is a cheesy thing. You say it's on the back of every cereal box, but you got to fail. You have to fail. And you have to fail in collaboration. Like when I look back at any project I worked on with people where my ego was getting involved too much, or where my ego wasn't getting involved enough, where there was power struggles and shit that can happen in bad collaborations, or where the idea itself is too foggy and fuzzy and you're just being instinctual and stuff like that, man. I think that that conversation you had was with a way more bitter version of me, man. And so I was frustrated.
No, you weren't bitter. You were honest. You were not bitter at all. You were very honest. And you said, at the end of the week, I did the math and I ended up making $8 an hour. And it was just you go, I got to change something up. So
which, by the way, man, and this sounds cheesy, but if you're working on something that you love, that's fine as long as you can eat.
Yeah.
But if you're looking at what's coming out and realizing it's not that good, that's depressing, man. Now you're just trying to make a thing. And this is why, having made Midnight Gospel, it's anytime I'm watching, in the old days, you watch a movie that sucks. For me, I'd watch a movie that sucks and I'd be like, what a piece of shit, man. Why would they even? Now I feel some compassion. Take Cats, right? I haven't even seen it, but Cats, they dropped all this money into Cats and it bombed. And all those actors, they were excited about being in Cats and the CGI didn't work. You know what I mean? There's if they didn't show the cats' buttholes, which is weird. Somebody actually redid pieces of Cats where they put their buttholes back in. But anyway, because it was too hyper realistic, Joey. It was you can't do realistic cats and then blur their butt. It's that's part of a cat, is it flashes its ass at you sometimes. And it's just, anyway, the point is, all those people, nobody redid Cats for the screen and wanted it to suck. Everyone had good intentions. There was a lot of people working on it, and somewhere in there just shit started backfiring. They weren't paying somebody wasn't getting paid enough. Somebody was getting paid too much. They were in too much of a hurry. And at the end of it, you get just a rancid embarrassment. And I feel bad for those people, man. But with Midnight Gospel, working with Penn, it was finding somebody I could collaborate with who really understood me, and I understood him to some degree. I respected him, is the better way to put it. And I really trusted his creative impulse and his intuition. And so suddenly what formerly had been a kind of scary, not very satisfying experience just became like magic. I literally felt like I was in Hogwarts or something. I felt like I was in some kind of magical temple. I can't describe it any other way, man. I would walk into Titmouse so fucking high, man. Just, tripping and walk in there and see all these animators bringing our thoughts into real life and feeling that energy in there and feeling everyone getting excited because they all knew what they were making was something weird and new. And it was every day was joy, man. It was walking into a church or something for me. And I love that. And I'm going to miss it if we do get to do a second season and we work remotely. But that being said, Joey, I think that the future is going to look really weird in the sense that people aren't going to be living in cities because they have to be there to work. I'm going to be living in Georgia. You're going to be living in Oregon. Rogan's going to be in fucking Wyoming. You know what I mean? People are going to be scattered to the winds, and we're all going to be gathering together like this. Except right now, the way we're gathering together, it's still technologically not that great. You know what I mean? We haven't, the technology isn't there yet, but it's going to be, man. And it's going to be like we're hanging out in real life.
Listen,
that's going to come.
I couldn't wait to get to bed last night so I could wake up just to see you,
Yeah, man, same.
There's not too many people in L.A. I'll stab a motherfucker for,
Likewise.
And I think you, me, and Ari had a little click early on at the store. Things happen over the years, but not between you and I think you and Ari, whatever, banged heads for a while, but at the end, we're all brothers. I mean,
Yeah.
And here we are 20 fucking years later.
Yeah, man.
That was 20 years ago when we were hanging out in the store, and then fucko quit, and you became the talent coordinator, and it was the most, you could see how uncomfortable you were being the talent coordinator, but you did it. You got to spend time with the queen of mean, the queen of comedy, Mitzi Shore. I mean, this has just been, listen, even if this coronavirus doesn't let us do comedy for the last 2 years, I'm full. Like, I experienced things I never thought would be possible. I got inducted into the Comedy Store. That's the Gambino of crime families. I wasn't an associate for a year. I went in there 3 times and she passed me. And after that, I did what the fuck I wanted. I became the comic who I am today.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this? That 20 years we've been fucking around. You were a kid when I almost killed that fucking ventriloquist of yours. Because the cocaine would tell me that he was going to come and get me in the middle of the night.
Well, you know, man, there's no such thing as time. This is what I love about the Ram Dass community that I'm part of, is they have these really great hippie ideas, which I really like to think about, which is that there's something called, what they call it, soul pods. Like the way dolphins swim in pods, like souls do the same thing, except instead of, we swim together through incarnations. Like our bodies are the ocean that our souls swim through, and we've been doing this forever. So whenever we die, or whenever we always come back and find each other, and we find each other in all these different ways. You know, in this case, it was like through comedy, but we've been doing this way longer than that, man. Sometimes we're probably fishermen. Sometimes we're probably in the military. Who knows, man? Sometimes we're doctors. Sometimes, who knows? We're bums. Sometimes we're like crazy people. Sometimes we're in mental asylums. Sometimes we're like birds. We're like flocks of birds, but we always come back, which is why, you always know too, because there's certain people you meet and they're cool or whatever, but you're never going to see them again. Or if you talk to them, you'll talk to them here and there. But there's certain people you meet and it just is you just start up like you knew them forever, even though you just met them that day. You know, I love that idea. That's how I feel about you and Ari and Joe. That's how I feel about our group, Red Band, all my friends like that. And the same thing happens in the Ram Dass community too. You just meet people and it's like, it's the same, like, man, there's people like Ari. I won't talk to him for a year sometimes, unfortunately, 6 months. But the moment we start talking,
it's over.
It's like we never stop talking. There isn't like it doesn't feel like a year went by. It's just like, oh yeah, we're just exactly back here. So I really do think that that's what happens with us, is that we just keep sort of finding each other through lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. And each time we probably, hopefully, are learning a little bit more, getting a little bit more, kinder to ourselves, a little less fucking crazy. And I think over the last 20 years, we watched that happen over the last 20 years. I can't think of one of us that got worse.
You were living with Joe for a while.
I think about it all the time,
1998 or something like that.
Yeah.
99, you were living with Joe. And I mean, I still remember you and Red Band getting into an argument in San Jose at breakfast.
So embarrassing.
He threw the hat at you. I can't believe he didn't wait for me. And you're like, fuck you. And it was,
you were laughing so hard, Joey. I'll never forget your laughter.
I was howling because I love this shit. Somebody getting into an argument at breakfast. It's just, we've seen each other grow. And what about the guy in Houston that would show up with the jars filled with Vicodins?
Oh, God. That was bad, Joey.
You remember
so
that?
Yes.
Would you tell these people how big those jars were that he would... It was like, a construction truck? Right. They have like hammers and light bulbs. He would pull the curtain up, and it was just jars of...
Like mason jars?
Yeah, like...
It wasn't Vicodin, it was Percocet.
He had everything. You know what? He came to my last show in Houston.
Did he still have jars?
He didn't give me a thing. He shook my hand.
Right.
And he goes, thank you for talking about me on a podcast. I felt special. He goes, I was the guy that was giving them to you. And it was him. He gained like 10 pounds. He says he's clean now. He still sells weed. But I still think of just our comedy growth. You know, all that time we put in with Mitzi, the road work, you could tell in Midnight Gospel.
Oh, thank you, man.
You know, man, I'm sick and tired of people thinking they could just ride into this town with no knowledge of nothing and create a masterpiece. It destroys me. If you come to town and 1 year you're a light guy, then 1 year you do comedy, then for 2 years you write, then for 3 years you're somebody, some director's assistant, and one day you come to me with an idea, I'll listen to you because I know that you're a smart guy and you've taken different pieces of everything. That's what you did. And that's why Midnight Gospel is such a hit, and you're a hit. And
thanks, man.
I'm just happy to fucking see you. I want to
Me
cry
too,
right
Joe.
now. I want to cry because I'm so proud of you. I saw you as a little guy. I remember still torturing people at the store when you were the casting, whatever, the
talent
director.
coordinator.
Huh?
The talent coordinator?
The talent coordinator. I used to tell people they had to give you a VIG if they wanted to perform. Don't mention the name. We had them going one night. You want to do spots, you got to give me money. Nobody talks to Duncan direct. You talk to me, and I bring Duncan the money, okay? Nobody breaks the chain. And I still remember Duncan coming down. Like, I didn't know Duncan was there at 10 o'clock at night. I got the guy in the corner, and I'm reading him the rules. Listen, they give you 15. I want all 15 of it. He's like, how am I going to live? That's your problem. That's your problem. 5 of that goes to me. The other 10 goes to Duncan. You and Duncan don't need to. He's like, well, I'll talk to Duncan. You and Duncan don't need to talk about anything. I'll smack you in the face.
That's
And
so
I'll
funny.
never forget that you came out. And I go, Duncan, I'm talking to this guy, and I'm straightening him out. And I just walked up to you, and he was just left there. And I told you, do you remember who the person was?
No.
No. And I remember you walked away, and you're like, what's going on? And I'm like, I got this kid believing he's got to give us his $15 to get on stage. And we were just dying about it. And we never,
Man, we did. It was, for one, you don't realize, and you can't, maybe you do, but like, you're terrifying, man. Like, if you're new at the Comedy Store and I don't know you, you know, you're like Joey Diaz. You know, you have series clout. You're fucking hilarious. And also, there's like, you know, the artistic hierarchy, there's a meritocracy at the Comedy Store, which I always loved about it. It was always that. It was like great if you have a show or something like that, but what really mattered is if you're funny or not. And I love that about that place. In general, a structure forms around that, which I always liked. I like that. You know, I came up with the Hare Krishnas, and they were really into this concept of what's called the disciplic succession, which is that this idea that like it's you know, a kind of light gets passed down through the generations, that from a teacher to a student. And it, you know, it's a very sweet thing if you're lucky enough to get that transmission, and then you have it inside of you. It's not like something in your head, it's in your heart. And so like, you know, the Comedy Store had that quality to it, which is like people like you had that light, you know, and then like people like me could sense that and wanted it to some degree, you know, and then there was a lot of respect involved in there. Not like ass-kissing respect, but just a lot of respecting just what you're saying, which is like, you don't just walk into the fucking Comedy Store and it works out for you. Like, I don't give a fuck who you were. When I first got there, man, I literally thought I was one of the funniest people. Like, I can remember like Jeff Richards sitting in a car with him and he's just making me laugh. But for me, I'd never encountered someone who trained themselves in the ability to make people laugh. I'd always been accidental, you know? And so I just remember like suddenly realizing like, holy shit, man, you are a tiny fish in a very, very big pond here, man. Just because you were making people laugh on the fucking school bus doesn't mean anything. you know, and I had to deal with all that pride. I had stupid hubris too, man, because I had, you know, like I'd used making people laugh as a tool. I assumed it was like, I must have been at the top of my game. I did prank calls in college. Surely I've got to be one of the funniest people ever. Then you run into someone like you know what I mean, who's on stage like killing, but you don't even, you realize stand-up comedy wasn't even what you thought it was anyway. You realize that even the idea you had of what comedy was wrong. And then suddenly you're seeing whatever the fuck the thing is, which I still don't think they call it killing now. I think that's the wrong word for it. I don't know what it is. There's probably better words out there, but you know what I'm talking about, man. When someone's on stage. I think the
better word is communicating at a high level.
Yeah, that's a good word for it.
Because I'm making you forget about everything that's going on, and I'm making you hold on to your stomach. But most importantly, I'm making you laugh against something you believe in, because I believe, I told Lee, to become a really good comic sometimes, you have to talk about shit that is truly against you. That's what even makes it funnier. That you don't believe in it. Like, you have to believe in it. I'm confusing myself. That joint was pretty strong. But
yeah,
when I'm on stage, I got to make the guy, I got to make him laugh, make him forget about his problems, and make him forget whether they're politically correct or not. Let them catch themselves laughing and going, oh, this motherfucker got me. I better stop playing that politically incorrect game. It's like when you play the South, the Bible Belt states. For me, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I would come out of the box strong. But after 8, I would make them remember themselves that they were Christians, and my show went south. Now I go up there, I don't give a fuck if you're Christian.
Right.
We're going to talk about how to fuck from behind and eat that ass deep with the fucking cross around your neck. And now you got them laughing at what they, you know, it's just a weird gift. And I'm always grateful, especially when I look across from you, knowing that part of Midnight Gospel, a little bit of it came from all those nights being in the original room and going up there with fucking Momo and playing I Wish You Were Here. And that's how that mine started. I never forget being in the back of the original room on a Sunday night. I'm hosting, and I bring you up, and you got fucking Momo and Wish You Were Here, and he's talking to you. And this is a complete different mind. You believed in it. You were committed to this character, and that's what made it fucking kill on Sunday nights.
Yeah,
and then
man.
you and I went on the road with Rogan, and we would go to San Francisco and San Jose, and you would do Little Momo, and I would tell you, you better hide that cocksucker, because I'm going to break into your room and kill him in the middle of the night and shit.
Hey, but Joey, here's the other thing that I got from the store, man, that it helped me with, is the animation industry is like the Comedy Store. And Titmouse is like the Comedy Store. It's homegrown animators there. And like in the same way that comics are like outsiders, you know, you run into a real comic, it's always an outsider. It's somebody who is just completely unique. Animators are like that too. Like some of our storyboard artists, like one of them who I love, his name's Lord Spew. He is, you know, so fucking funny. But like I was able, being around them, to recognize that I was really lucky to be working with him, because Pendleton took me under his wing, and like he's like, you know, really respected in that industry. But I wouldn't have known that. I wouldn't have had the humility to like let myself be in that place. But having been at the Comedy Store and recognizing, oh shit, this is like the Comedy Store. And even though these people aren't comics, they have developed this craft of writing through and making people laugh through storyboards in the same fucking way comics have learned how to make people laugh telling jokes. And that, you know, and I remember this kid, we got in an argument, and there was a thing I didn't think was funny that he did. And I remember, like, you know, and you get in these arguments in front of lots of people, man, like you can't, there's no way to do it in a vacuum, right? And it's uncomfortable. Because like I'm sitting there and my ego wants shit to go one way. And I am thinking like, damn it, I've been to the Comedy Store. I know when shit's funny. I don't think this is going to work. And then I start realizing that's my ego. Like, I don't think I'm right. I think I'm totally fucking wrong here, which is the other thing you learn at the Comedy Store. You learn to know when your joke ain't working. You learn to know when it isn't, and how to adjust. And I remember like, that's when me and that guy became friends, is because I listened to him. I thought about it. I'm like, all right, let's try it. Then we saw it. It was a tiny little moment in it, but it was funny as fuck. He was completely right. And so then in front of this whole room of people who saw us get in this argument, they see this joke work that I said wouldn't work. And I had to say, you were totally right, man. I'm sorry I got in an arm wrestling match with you over that. And then me and him became friends. And it wasn't just like being on stage at the Comedy Store. It was working for fucking Mitzi and having to eat my fucking ass, man. It was like Bobby Lee coming up to my office and pissing in a goddamn cup and leaving it on my desk and walking out, meaning like I'd have to take that cup of piss. You know what I mean? And like, what are you going to do? You either leave a cup of piss on your desk, or you have to pick up Bobby Lee's piss and try to walk it to a bathroom and pour it out without it getting on your hand. You know what I mean? And I'm not advocating that kind of like fucking fraternity bullshit, hazing shit. But let me tell you, you learn how to eat your pride there a little bit, man.
Yes, you do.
And if you, and in the right way, that can really help you collaborate with people. That can really help you like let other people have a voice, and because you're not going to be right all the time. You can't be, man. And so, that guy, he did my podcast recently, and I brought that up at the beginning of the podcast, that moment. And he told me, he's like, man, I really thought you were going to fire me. Like, because, when you're working with producers and shit, sometimes their ego gets in the way and they can your fucking ass, but thank God for the Comedy Store, because I just recognized him as for what he was, which is a brilliantly funny outsider. So anyway, man, I think that's the other thing it gives us, the Comedy Store, is like, it teaches us how to work with, because you're by yourself on stage. But the Comedy Store, it's more than just being on stage, man. It's off stage, talking with people, getting inspired by comics, letting your soul fill up with that energy. And you know what I mean? I think that's another thing it gave me relating to Midnight Gospel.
Yeah, I don't know what'll happen. I don't know how we're going to make it the next 3 months. You have your family. I got mine. We got our health.
Yeah.
We got a pen and plenty of paper. We got an iPad. Yeah. And like I said, I'm going to pick up something locally that I could work on every other week. No pressure. I think even the pressure of the store was getting to me. You know what, man? I'm a lot like you. I'll tell you what night I'll come down that morning. I don't know if I want to do stand-up on a Tuesday morning, but I was forcing myself. So this break for me had a silver lining, because it's let me think about what I really, really wanted to do. I really want to be part of that little girl's life.
Yeah.
I really want to get healthy, so in 18 months, when the Soprano movie comes out, I could travel the tour, get a couple dates out of it, see some people. I miss doing stand-up. 29 fucking years. 29 years I've been going out at night. Now at night, I got a fucking hooded sweatshirt on, a pair of fucking shorts. I'm counting the minutes till I eat an edible to make that hour less boring. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
They've cut my legs off. It's worse than communism for a guy like me. I'm Joe, the captain of my own body. If I say to myself, I'm not going to the store for a month to take a breather, I do it. But somebody else is telling me now. And that bothers me a little. But I'm not mad. I'm not mad at anybody. It's a disease and people are dying.
Yeah.
So that's been a little rough on me. But doing these things with you, talking to you on the phone, talking to Ari, lets us know that we're still here. Sometimes pain is good because it lets you know you're alive.
Right.
So I don't see you going through any pain. I'm not going through any pain. I just wanted to get together with you to help some people that are having some hard times and want to entertain them and open their eyes to the best show on Netflix right now.
Thank you, Joey.
Fucking Midnight Gospel. And I have friends that have watched it because I've recommended it to them. I recommended it to them because they're so uptight They're assholes. You can't even put a thermometer in there if it was the 70s. And they've returned and said, I liked it. I watched it with my daughter. So
man.
trust me, Netflix got a lot of views. You did great. And I just want to let people know they got to see the mind of Duncan Trussell.
Thank you, Joey.
And that's without the drugs. We got next season is your mind with drugs. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully by season 3, they'll have a machine that you could do high doses of mushrooms, fucking ketamine, and fucking that Chinese shit. And then they put sensors on you. And whatever you see, you could turn into a movie. And
That's what I'm hoping for.
Me, you, and Lee can sit together, do some heavy-duty number 2 from the Chinese, mixed right there in Wuhan.
Yeah.
Get those fresh thoughts. And that Wuhan heroin is a motherfucker. Always get you. I love you.
Love you, Joey.
Spotify, iTunes, YouTube.
Yeah.
Have a great day. Thank you for doing this. I'll give you a call
See you,
later.
man.
I love you, brother. Stay
Call me
black.
later, Joey. I love you, man. Thanks for
Love
letting me
you,
be on your
brother.
show.
Always. What'd you think of that, cocksuckers? I loved it. I loved talking to that dude. Always an interesting time. It's better to have him in studio because crazier shit happens when he's in studio. But we got him anyway. He's great. If you haven't seen Midnight, what the fuck is it? I forget.
Gospel.
That joint was good. Midnight Gospel. It's time you watched all episodes. I'm in a couple episodes. Like I said, he hooked me up. And that's it, and that's that. As dates are concerned, there ain't none, so don't ask. I hope you got your money back. And once this whole thing clears up, we'll be back. I'm happy I could come on the air today and, take your mind off of shit for a fucking hour. I wish I could solve this. I wish I could make this go away, but I can't. All we could do is giggle a little bit, tell a couple fucked up jokes, and that's fucking it. You know what I'm saying? I went... Yesterday, I went against myself. The other day, I take a ride every day, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And every day you go a different direction. Some days you go deep that way, and some days you go that way. The other day, I went that way. And Steve Simone, our dear friend, has become a fucking chef. And the other day, he dropped something off at the house. What the fuck did he drop off?
Meatball.
No, he always drops something off. And the other day, he said he went to this... I'm not going to say the name of the place. This Italian place that sells like Italian supplies here in Burbank. And they got like olive oil. He told me what he bought. He bought olive oil that you put on the pizza. He bought a special type of olive oil. Oh, he said he bought raviolis. Oh. The same ones that his mother buys. So I'm driving towards that way. And it's 11:30, which is my cutoff time. After 11:30, if you're out, listen, I got new rules during the quarantine, okay? Here's the rules, all right? If you're not high by 12, go fuck your mother. By 12, you should be blasted. You understand me? Like blast. I don't care what you do. I don't care what you do to get you there. Because if not, you're going to get too good. And I'm not talking about ending up in a fucking rehab. Don't say that I ended up in a rehab because Joey told me to get blasted. No. If you do heroin, just do a little skin pop. Something to... just something to straighten out the leg. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to sit there and watch TV like a moron. If you eat like 8 Vicodins a day, cut it down to 2. But pop like a half, like at 9 in, just to get the wing going. You know what I'm saying? Pop it with your breakfast. And if you're smoking dope, listen, I wake up like a normal human being. I wake up, I help my wife with the cats. I drink my coffee. I try to write a journal as hard as it is to focus right now. And at some point, I know it's reefer time. I go in the back. I don't know how long it takes. Like today, I got up at 6. I got so high today, I didn't even tweet. That's how fucking high I got today because I had to go to that fucking MRI. So I was so fucking nervous before the MRI because I don't like being around people no more. That's it. Like I'm working myself up to like 4 or 5 people. You know what I'm saying? Like anything after
And that's
4,
going to be tops.
and that's tops for right now. I'm serious.
People.
Yeah, like once I see 5 or 6 people gathered, like I get nervous. So against my best will, I go, you know what? Let me help my wife out because raviolis, all you got to basically do is boil water.
Yeah.
And my wife makes a fucking sauce, quick McGrew, no meat, a lot of garlic, you know, whatever the fuck she puts in it, the whole tomatoes. I love it. I fucking love that shit. So, and it just eases the burden off my wife. You know, she could just throw that in there. You know, these are, it's fucking 21 meals my wife is responsible for. I fucking hate cooking. So, I do. I used to love to cook, but then I hate looking at raw meat. It makes me sick to my stomach.
Really? You don't like raw meat?
No, I don't like looking at raw meat and cutting shit and seeing blood. And chickens, forget about it. When I was a kid, my mother would have to do Santeria rituals, and then you got to eat the chicken. It's like choking yourself. It's like, you know. So, I don't like cooking. I just don't like it. And when you see a fat dude, like, look, when I see a chef, he better be a fat fuck. I've always said that. Show me a skinny chef that he talks about kettlebells. I don't want to do business with you. You shouldn't be talking about kettlebells. You should be talking about calories and how to put flavor in food, butter, you know, shit like that. That's why skinny chefs I stay away from. I see a chef with an 8-pack, a 6-pack, I don't want to do business with you. So, rule number 1 during the quarantine, you got to be high by 12. And rule number 2 is do your shopping by 11:15.
Okay. Before
all the fucking morons come out. The earlier the better because there's less germs in the store. At night they spray that fucking Wuhan juice into the air that kills the bugs and all the fucking air. So you don't want to go in there at 6 o'clock because there's been 200 people in the supermarket. So you want to pick a small market and go in there early, and like that you beat the fucking Wuhan germs before they fucking spread. But I said, fucking, I'm all the way over here. Let me go into this place at 5:30. At 5:30, it wasn't no fucking 5:30. It was like 11:30. And I forgot it's the fucking lunchtime crowd. So I went to the freezer. I called Steve Simone. I go, what's the brand? The ravioli. Steve Simone drops the brand on me. I grab a lobster ravioli, a beef ravioli,
nice.
And a cheese ravioli, just to help my wife out. I get a loaf of bread, you know, Italian bread, just to try it out. It was shit. Yeah, it was pure shit. They can't make Italian bread out here.
Just to try it out.
Yeah, it was garbage. I took the bit. You know how you get the on the drive home, you can't hold yourself back, so you take the tip off.
Yeah, of course.
Like I took the tip off and ate it. It tastes like a fucking communion waffle. Like I thought I'd gone to church. Like what the fuck?
Oh no,
it had no flavor to it. It's terrible. So I go in there and I get the bread like a retard that I am because I'm high. And I get bread, and I get to the car and I go, I should have helped her out and got her some cold cuts. Let me go back in there and get some cold cuts. So I go back in and some lady goes, you got to take a number. So as I walk to take a number, this fucking half retarded woman is right there, and me trying to be a gentleman. See, it pays to be a fucking animal. It used to pay to be a gentleman, no more, because you give people breaks and they shit all over you.
Yeah.
This lady takes the fucking number. I say, go ahead. She takes it. She gets in front of me. And after ordering like 1,000 things and sampling shit, at the last minute, she throws in a fucking gift card. Oh. So they got to stop like Bruno, the only Italian in there, because everybody's Mexican. Nobody knows how to fucking fill out a gift card.
I would love to just see your face at that moment.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Listen to me. I was 57, and the lady next to me was 58. She was standing like 6 feet from me, and I'm 57. And when she asked for the gift card, the lady said, no, she didn't. And I looked at her, I go, you from New York? She goes, worse, New Jersey. I go, where? She goes, Cliffside Park. I go, you ever go to Rudy's? She goes, please. I grew up in that fucking joint. So we started talking. Awesome. And I go, can you believe the balls in this fucking lady? And she goes, these white people out here fucking retarded. Who would come at 5:30 and get a fucking gift card? You're going to come here at 12 and stop the whole fucking process. The fucking guy, Julio, whatever, Bruno, you should have seen him cutting. It was like he was getting paid by the fucking century. He was slicing like, His arm had arthritis. Like, get through it. Fucking, I grew up in a fucking deli. Slice that fucking meat. And everybody else is walking around like in 3D too.
Oh,
They're
no.
like 3 Mexicans and nobody habla. Like, they sent the A-B team home and they got the B team to replace. See, what's going on is they gave these Mexicans $100,000 a week for unemployment, so they were getting sick, legit. So now they're like, fuck it, we're not going back. In fact, we're going to Mexico. We're taking our 11 weeks. Fuck going back.
Hell yeah.
We're not cooking with the HIV, so they had to send in the B team, and they don't know what's going on.
And they're not even Mexican?
I don't know what they were. They were like lost in there. They were like lost in there. So, damn it on me for going against my own rules. Don't go against your rules.
That's I love, especially like when we're out on like at a show and someone asks you to do something like that. Would you please do a video for me or just anything that I know you don't want to do? I just love watching your face. And why, like, because you say you crack people. You crack sometimes too. It's pretty funny. Like, when you can't handle it, but you're trying to be nice and polite.
Lee, I got to be honest with you. I crack every day. Every day, especially the last 2 weeks, I crack every day at some point. From natural stupidity or something. But I keep it control. I'm okay.
Yeah, you're
It's been under control. I'm good. I'm healthy, knock on wood. They called up to switch my physical. I can't wait to get the finger in the ass.
Ooh.
That's that, because now I'm going to get the finger in the ass, and then you're going to drive me again to put the camera up my asshole. I'm doing it. That's like 6 years ago.
Can I do it?
No, you can't do it.
Why?
What do you mean? Put the camera in my
just
ass?
the camera, yeah, not the finger.
No. You got to look professional. What's wrong with you? You're a retard. You put it in the wrong hole. You didn't even fuck Paul in the ass. You're going to stick a finger up my ass. You probably faint if you look.
How many holes do you have down there?
Just the main one, like everybody else, you fucking momo. Just one, plus the one in my pee hole. What the fuck is wrong with you? How many holes you got? That? What am I, a transvestite or something like that?
You said I put it in the wrong hole.
No, you did. You would. You fucking retarded. I love you. See what I'm saying? See what I got to deal with people? You think it's an easy day? You're going to just smoke a joint and go home? I got to deal with this. Duncan Trussell was great. So watch Midnight Gospel. I had a great time on it. And I'll tell you what, and it's the truth. After like the first fucking 5 minutes, I'm like, you got to get high to watch this.
Oh, yeah.
You got to do a hit of something. You got to eat a mushroom wing. You got to do a method to do something. I called Josh Wolf and got the fucking... Josh Wolf, I don't know where he gets these mushrooms from. That's why he's so skinny. He eats these fucking mushrooms. And he goes to different planets. Him and Ari get the fucking best mushrooms of all time. I'm not a mushroom guy. It gives me diarrhea. But for Midnight Gospel, I had to experiment. I had to take the chance. Columbus did. And it was okay. I enjoyed myself. I had a good time. So if you get a chance, watch it. Follow his podcast. And that's it, and that's that. I don't know nothing about dates. I don't want no dates. I want everybody to be healthy. Everybody to get financially settled. And then we'll talk about fucking dates, all right? Everybody's taking a fucking pay cut. So fuck you. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's taking a pay cut. Everybody's hurting. Everybody's going through the same thing. And I'm fucking sympathizing with all you cocksuckers. So thank you for listening. But before we let you go, let me talk to you about something. Seriously. If you listen to the podcast or you followed me for years, guys like Bob Lalingus, Ookie Spooky, they know I love MeUndies. I love them. I wear them. I love them for working out. The whole thing. MeUndies, MeUndies, MeUndies. I know you've been hearing this from any podcast you listen to, but here's the thing. MeUndies is the world's softest and most comfortable, sustainable underpants in the fucking world. All right? It's like having an angel. It's like someone having a little baby's hand cradle your nuts. Don't say you heard it from me. They design their underwear for comfort and self-expression. Point is, it's time you cut off your toxic relationship with your tattered old undies. Guys, I know you're hoarding some fucking works of art in your fucking top drawer. It's time to make an adult decision and get rid of that shit. You show up at some girl's house with white underwear with a little yellow spot in front with a little pee stain like a fucking filthy animal. Listen, you'll never settle for a pair of those pieces of shit again, all right? You get MeUndies delivered straight to your door with free shipping. They come in different colors. Every month they send you a different pair. They are fucking tremendous. You know I don't fucking throw no bullshit at you people. These are the most comfortable underwear you're ever going to fucking have on. Period, all right? They just don't make undies. They got loungewear and all the same fun patterns that you love in underpants. Every month they send me and my wife the same underwear. Not that we're two fucking morons and we put them on together and jump up and down. But my wife wears them to go to yoga. She loves all that shit. So, listen, it don't stop with just men. MeUndies has a great offer for the church family. And for first-time purchases, you get 15% off and free shipping. You can't beat it. It's a no-fucking-brainer, especially because they got 100% satisfaction guarantee. So do me a favor. Get your 15% off your first pair, free shipping, and 100% satisfaction guarantee. Go to MeUndies.com/Joey, Joe. It's a no-fucking-brainer. I'm telling you right now. With the satisfaction guarantee, get yours today. MeUndies.com/Joey. Have a great fucking weekend. Thank you for listening. Thank you for having our back. And thank you for supporting us. And if you're going through a hard time, my heart goes out to you and your family. But guess what? We're making a comeback, motherfuckers. Everybody's going to suck our dick. The Chinese, the fucking Cubans, everybody's going to suck our dick. Don't worry about nothing. I love you guys. Enjoy. Have a great weekend. See you Monday morning. Tip-top Magoo, no fucking stories. Do your thing, cocksucker.